Snoop Dogg's story can't be told without talking about the men who protected him, pushed him forward, and sometimes risked their lives for him. From Big C style helping Snoop start his career, to Tupac adding danger and fame to Death Row Records, these men shaped Snoop's most intense and violent era. Today, we're breaking down the stories of the deadliest people who were part of Snoop's life during those times. So Knight. Before we talk about anyone else, we have to start with the man who made it all possible and whose shadow still hangs over everything, Suge Knight. His full name is Marion Hugh Knight Jr., and he was born on April 19, 1965 in Compton, California. As a kid, he was nicknamed Sugar Bear, but nothing about him would ever be sweet. He grew to be 62 and over 300 pounds, and he became the intimidating founder of Death Row Records, the label that launched Snoop Dogg to worldwide fame. Suge Knight's journey to the music world was unusual. He played football at UNLV as a defensive end, alongside future NFL stars, and even played briefly for the Los Angeles Rams during the 1987 NFL strike. But football didn't work out, so he turned to the music industry. First, he worked as a bodyguard for stars like Bobby Brown, then as a concert promoter. He quickly learned that being scary could get you respect and power. In 1991, Suge co-founded Death Row Records with Dr. Dre and The Doc, getting a distribution deal with Interscope. The label became huge when Dr. Dre released The Chronic in 1992. Then came Snoop Dogg. Snoop's first album, Dogga Style, came out in 1993, hitting #1 on the Billboard 200 and selling over 800,000 copies in its first week. But Suge's business style was as brutal as his ambitions. He was connected to the mob Peru Bloods, and his decisions were often shaped by threats and intimidation. His 1995 diss at the Source Awards, aimed at Puff Daddy, helped start the East Coast-West Coast feud that led to deaths in hip-hop. Snoop and Suge had a relationship that was both helpful and harmful. Death Row made Snoop famous, but the chaos was hard to deal with. By 1998, Snoop left for Master P's No Limit Records and later created Doggy Style Records, blaming Suge for Tupac's 1996 death. Suge's downfall was dramatic. On January 29, 2015, he ran over Terry Carter and injured Clee Bone Sloan in Compton and pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter. In 2018, he was sentenced under California's 3 strikes law to 28 years. As of November 2025, he's in R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility in San Diego. His health is declining, and rumors of early parole have been proven false. He won't be eligible until 2034. Even in prison, Suge stays relevant, giving interviews and podcasts about hip-hop and industry secrets. Suge Knight was Snoop's deadliest affiliate, the man who launched him to superstardom, but also dragged him into a dangerous world. But Suge was just the start. Once you look past the CEO, you see cracks in Snoop's own circle. Daz Dillinger. Family doesn't always mean loyalty. Take Snoop's cousin Daz Dillinger. Born Delmer Drew Arnaud on May 25, 1973, in Long Beach, California, Daz was more than family. He was a key collaborator. He apprenticed under Dr. Dre and helped produce Snoop's debut album, Dogga Style, even if Dre got most of the credit. Daz formed Thaw Dog Pound with Curupt, releasing Dog Food in 1995. He also produced tracks for Tupac's All Eyes on Me, but tensions arose over royalties and recognition. In 2022, Snoop bought Death Row for $8.8 million, and Daz expected to be part of the deal because he owned his masters. Instead, he was left out. By August 2025, Daz publicly criticized Snoop online and released music targeting Death Row and Snoop. He refused to sign over his catalog, valuing his home and royalties over label perks. As of November 2025, Daz runs DPG Records independently, releasing music and making about $400,000 from his beats and royalties. His deadliest reputation comes not from guns, but from his lyrical attacks and relentless grind. Lil Half Dead. Some artists fade away quietly, while others become the center of rumors and conspiracy theories. Lil Half Dead, born Donald Dwayne Smith on September 13, 1974, was Snoop's cousin and a part of the early Death Row world. His debut album, The Dead Has Arisen, came out in 1994, but later albums were less successful. Conspiracy theories have surrounded him for years. Some claimed he had connections to Tupac's death, though these rumors were never proven. Today, at 51, he runs 1-2-time records, mentoring young artists and releasing new music, proving that even half dead, he survives and thrives. Big C style. Long before Snoop was famous, Big C style shaped his rise. Born Christopher Bowden in Birmingham, Alabama, but raised in Long Beach, California, Big C style was a loyal street affiliate. Their first meeting could have ended in violence, but instead, it formed a lifelong bond. He gave Snoop beats, security, and street advice. Big C style survived a drive-by shooting and later helped form the LBC crew. The 1997 Echo Sound Studio Massacre, where bullets flew during a recording session, further proved his survival instincts. He still makes music today through 19th Street Records, showing resilience in a world filled with danger. Tupac Shakur. No story of Snoop's deadliest affiliates is complete without Tupac Shakur. Born June 16, 1971, Tupac wasn't just a rapper. He was a poet, activist, and actor. He joined death row after Suge Knight bylaid him out of prison for $1.4 million in 1995. Snoop convinced him to join, and together they created legendary music, including All Eyes on Me. Their friendship wasn't without tension. Tupac's diss tracks escalated the East Coast-West Coast feud. On September 7, 1996, Tupac was shot in a drive-by in Las Vegas and died 6 days later at age 25. His death was a devastating blow to Snoop and the hip-hop world. Tupac sold 75 million records worldwide, and his influence continues today. Aaron Palmer. Some men's fame comes from music, while others are known for protecting those who make music. Aaron Palmer was a high-ranking member of the mob Peru Bloods and head of security for death row. Rumors say he was responsible for up to 17 killings, though this is unverified. Palmer protected Snoop during dangerous times and was present at the infamous 1996 MGM Grand Beating of Orlando, Baby Lane, Anderson just hours before Tupac's shooting. Tragically, Palmer was ambushed and killed on June 1, 1997, marking a violent turning point in death row history. Big Jake Robley's. The first death in the death row versus bad boy feud was Big Jake Robley's, an original gangster affiliated with the Campanella Park Peru Bloods. In 1995, a brawl at a party in Atlanta turned deadly. Big Jake was shot and later died, sparking further violence between the East and West Coasts. His death is remembered as the start of hip-hop's deadliest chapter. McKinley Malik Lee. McKinley Malik Lee was Snoop's personal bodyguard in the early 1990s. In 1993, a parking dispute led to Lee shooting a man in self-defense. Snoop was charged as an accessory, and Lee faced first-degree murder. After 18 months in maximum security prison, he was acquitted. Lee later became a motivational speaker, using his story to mentor youth. His loyalty saved Snoop's life and career. Trey D. Trey D, born Alonzo Smith in 1966, was a rapper and gang member affiliated with the Insane Crips. His lyrics were violent, and so was his real-life behavior. In 2003, he fired on rival gang members, was arrested, and served 9 years in prison. After release, he focused on music, family, and avoiding gangs, but tension with Snoop over money and music persisted. Goldilock. Not every story ends in tragedy. Goldilock, born Kewin Desan Spillman in 1974, was Snoop's partner in Thaw East Sidez. After Trey D went to prison, Goldilock kept the group alive. He continues to make music, tour, and honor the East Side legacy. His story shows loyalty, survival, and triumph amid chaos. These men shaped Snoop Dogg's life and career. Some protected him, some challenged him, and some paid the ultimate price. Together, they show the dangerous, dramatic, and loyal world behind Snoop's rise to superstardom. Well, that's it for this video, but don't go anywhere. There's plenty more stories and heat waiting. Tap any of the cards on your screen right now and keep watching. Snoop Dogg's story can't be told without talking about the men who protected him, pushed him forward, and risked their lives for him. Before the fame, before the platinum records, there was the streets of Long Beach, California. That's where Snoop learned loyalty, danger, and what it meant to survive in a world where music, money, and violence collided. One of the most important men in his life was Suge Knight. Suge wasn't just a music executive, he was a force of nature. Born Marion Hugh Knight Jr. On April 19, 1965, in Compton, California, he got the nickname Sugar Bear as a kid, but there was nothing sweet about the empire he would build. Standing 62 and over 300 pounds, Suge became the intimidating founder of Death Row Records, the label that made Snoop Dogg a superstar. Suge's journey started on the football field at UNLV and a short stint with the Los Angeles Rams. But when that didn't work out, he turned to the music world. Suge started as a bodyguard, then a concert promoter, learning that fear and respect were powerful tools. In 1991, he co-founded Death Row with Dr. Dre, and the label exploded with Dre's The Chronic in 1992. Snoop followed with Doggystyle in 1993, selling over 800,000 copies in its first week. But Suge's style of business was ruthless. He used threats, intimidation, and sometimes violence to get what he wanted, and his mob Peru Bloods connections fueled his decisions. The 1995 Source Awards diss aimed at Puff Daddy escalated the East Coast-West Coast feud, which would later claim lives. Snoop and Suge's relationship was complicated. Snoop got fame and fortune, but Death Row's chaos followed him everywhere. By 1998, Snoop left for Master P's No Limit Records. Suge's downfall came violently too. He ran over Terry Carter in 2015, pleaded no contest, and was sentenced under California's 3 strikes law. As of 2025, he remains in prison, but still gives interviews, podcasts, and commentary on the hip-hop world. But Suge Knight was only the beginning. Other men shaped Snoop's rise in ways the public rarely saw. His cousin Daz Dillinger, for example, produced much of Snoop's early work, helping craft the beats that made Doggystyle legendary. But even family ties couldn't prevent conflict. When Snoop bought Death Row in 2022, Daz expected to be part of the deal, but was left out. He fought back with music and online posts, creating one of hip-hop's most famous family feuds. Other cousins, like Lil, Half Dead, faced a different battle. Rumors and conspiracy theories surrounded him, linking him to Tupac's death, though nothing was proven. Today, he mentors young artists in Long Beach and continues releasing music, showing survival in a world full of danger. From Suge Knight's shadow to family drama, Snoop's early world was filled with danger, loyalty, and betrayal. These men weren't just friends or co-workers. They were soldiers, enforcers, and creators, each leaving their mark on Snoop's rise. And while some survived, others paid the ultimate price. Long before Snoop Dogg became a superstar, he had men by his side who protected him, guided him, and sometimes saved his life. One of them was Big C Style, born Christopher Bowden in Birmingham, Alabama, but raised in Long Beach. Big C Style met Snoop when they were teenagers in the late 1980s. A young Snoop, then Calvin Broadus, was chatting with girls when Big C approached him with a pistol, thinking he might be trouble. Instead of fighting, they talked and laughed. That moment started a lifelong bond. Big C Style turned his garage into a studio for Snoop, Nate Dogg, and Warren G, providing late-night beats, security, and street advice. He drove Snoop to Dr. Dre's home for the recording of The Chronic, waiting outside like a guardian. But life on the streets wasn't safe. Big C Style survived a drive-by shooting that sidelined him for a year, yet he returned to music stronger than ever. In 1993, he formed the LBC Crew, whose projects were executive produced by Snoop, influencing the sound of West Coast hip-hop for years. Then came Tupac Shakur, the man who changed everything. Born June 16, 1971, Tupac was more than a rapper. He was a poet, actor, and activist. He joined Death Row after Suge Knight bailated him out of prison for $1.4 million in 1995, and Snoop personally convinced him to come aboard. Together, Snoop and Tupac created legendary music, including All Eyes on Me. Their partnership also intensified the East Coast-West Coast feud. Tupac's diss tracks, combined with Snoop's own conflicts, created one of hip-hop's most dangerous eras. On September 7, 1996, Tupac was shot in Las Vegas and died 6 days later at age 25. For Snoop, this loss was devastating. Other men lived in Snoop's orbit as protectors. Aaron Palmer was death row's head of security and a reputed member of the mob Peru Bloods. He kept Snoop and Tupac safe during dangerous times, including the famous 1996 MGM Grand Beating of Orlando, Baby Lane Anderson. But Palmer was killed in 1997, an ambush that triggered further violence. Even Snoop's closest bodyguard, McKinley Malik Lee, faced life-or-death moments. In 1993, a parking lot dispute escalated, and Lee fired his weapon in self-defense, killing a man. Snoop was charged as an accessory, and Lee faced murder charges. After 18 months in prison, he was acquitted, but the experience changed him forever. Today, he shares his story to mentor youth and teach lessons about loyalty, survival, and making the right choices. Then there were rappers who combined words and weapons. Trey D, born Alonzo Smith, rapped about violence and lived it. In 2003, he fired on rival gang members, was arrested, and served 9 years in prison. Upon release, he rejoined music, focusing on family and leaving gang life behind. Meanwhile, Goldilock, born Kiwan Desan Spillman, survived all the chaos, kept the East Side legacy alive, and continued making music with Snoop and others. These men show that behind Snoop Dogg's fame was a world of loyalty, danger, and survival. Some paid the ultimate price, some fought battles quietly, and some came out stronger, proving that the deadliest affiliates weren't always those with guns. They were those with loyalty, courage, and a vision for survival in a dangerous world. So what does all of this mean? When you look at Snoop Dogg's life and career, it's easy to just see the superstar on stage, the platinum records, the flashy videos, and the awards. But behind every success story, there's a network of people, friends, cousins, bodyguards, producers, and street allies, who carry the weight of survival, loyalty, and danger. Snoop didn't rise alone. The men we've talked about, Suge Knight, Daz Dillinger, Lil Half Dead, Big C Style, Tupac, Aaron Palmer, Malik Lee, Trey D, and Goldilock, they weren't just part of his life. They shaped the world he lived in. They created the music, protected the empire, and sometimes paid with their lives. Now think about it. For every big moment in hip-hop history, there's a story like this happening in the shadows. Suge Knight, with his intimidating presence, built a label that would launch Snoop Dogg to stardom, but also drew him into one of the most violent chapters in music history. Daz Dillinger, a cousin and producer, crafted beats that defined an era but had to fight for recognition and respect decades later. Lil Half Dead survived rumors, conspiracies, and being left out of the spotlight, only to come back as a mentor for the next generation. Big C Style protected Snoop on the streets before he even had fame and survived shootings that would have ended a lesser man's career. And then there was Tupac. Tupac wasn't just an affiliate. He was a brother in the studio, a partner in the streets, and someone whose energy, music, and tragic death forever changed Snoop's path. Their bond brought out the best in Snoop's music, but also highlighted the danger of being connected to the biggest East Coast-West Coast feud the world had ever seen. When Tupac died, Snoop felt the pain of losing not just a collaborator, but family. That grief shaped his music, his decisions, and even the way he saw the industry. Protection was another crucial element. Aaron Palmer, a high-ranking Bloods member and head of death row security, kept threats away from Snoop and Tupac, but he didn't survive the violent streets. His death was a stark reminder that being close to power in this world came with risks that were often fatal. Similarly, McKinley Malik Lee's story shows us that loyalty sometimes comes with a price. He risked years of his life to protect Snoop, faced prison, and walked out a changed man. Then there are the lyrical assassins, Trey D and Goldilock, whose words on the mic were deadly, but whose loyalty off it helped Snoop navigate the dangerous world around him. Trey D paid for his mistakes with prison time, learning the hard way that survival isn't just about skill, it's about choices. Goldilock, on the other hand, managed to survive, thrive, and keep the East Side legacy alive, proving that loyalty and resilience can win in a world full of chaos. Now here, where it all comes together. If you've been following Snoop Dogg's journey, what you see on the surface, the glitz, the glamour, the success is just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath is a network of people who fought, survived, died, or sacrificed for him. Their stories tell us that success rarely comes alone. Behind every icon, there's a group of unsung heroes, deadliest affiliates, and loyal soldiers. They protect, they push, they create, and they inspire. They're the invisible engine that fuels the legend. And here's the lesson for anyone watching, reading, or listening to this story. Loyalty matters. Protection matters. Respect matters. You can't understand the rise of a legend without understanding the people who made the rise possible. The sacrifices, the battles, the conflicts, and the relationships are just as important as the music itself. Snoop Dogg's life is a testament to the power of alliances, both the good and the deadly ones, and to the cost of fame when it intersects with loyalty, crime, and violence. So what can you do next? If you're watching this video, take a moment to reflect on the people in your life who have helped you succeed, even quietly. The ones who have got your back, who protect you, who believe in your vision. Reach out to them. Show gratitude. Learn from the stories of Snoop Dogg and his deadliest affiliates. Whether you're chasing dreams in music, sports, business, or school, success is never a solo journey. Behind every victory, there's a team. And sometimes, those teams face dangers that you might never see on camera. And if you love this kind of story, there's more heat coming. Tap the cards on your screen to see the next chapter of hip-hop history, the secrets behind the scenes, and the lives of the men who made legends possible. Snoop Dogg's story isn't finished. The music, the drama, the loyalty, and the danger continue to evolve. And there are more stories waiting to be told about the affiliates, the crews, and the streets that shape the West Coast sound forever. So don't just scroll away. Watch, learn, and remember. Behind every superstar, there's a story of loyalty, survival, and sometimes deadly sacrifice. Whether it's Suge Knight's empire, Tupac's legacy, or the streets of Long Beach, the truth is bigger than the fame. And the lessons? They can inspire everyone, from a young kid with a dream to a fan of hip-hop history, to understand that loyalty, courage, and persistence are the real keys to surviving and thriving. Click the next video, dive deeper, and discover more untold stories from the world of Snoop Dogg and the men who shaped him. Because their lives, their sacrifices, and their loyalty aren't just history. They're lessons for anyone who wants to rise, survive, and leave a legacy. Remember, legends aren't born alone. They're made with the people who fight, protect, and inspire them every step of the way. And that's exactly what Snoop Dogg's deadliest affiliates did.